And joining me on today's edition of the British Baseball Podcast, I'm extremely happy to have alongside me, not alongside me, but on the other end of the phone, the special guest who started out life as a semi-professional footballer before beginning his life as a baseballer in the 1990s. He became the player coach and general manager at Tonbridge Baseball Club and has played ball in the UK and in Ireland. He now runs the Kent Buccaneers Baseball Club, Buccaneers Travel Team, Kent Knights Youth Baseball, and also Coach Carter Field Sports and Supplies. And when he gets 5 minutes to breathe, he talks to Muppets like me on podcasts. John Carter, good evening, sir. How are you?
Hello, Matt. Thanks very much for having me. Sounds like you've done your research there on me.
Well, I have a very good resource given to me. It was your own website, so I plagiarized it. So whoever wrote your bio, you can thank them for that introduction.
Right.
I only changed 1 or 2 words in it, but. So, John, a lot of people will already know you in the baseball community, as we can tell by the listeners' questions that came in. You seem to be quite a popular figure. But for those who are fairly new to sport like myself, or who don't know too much about you, would you like to indulge us in a little bit of your history in baseball, your pathway through the sport?
Yeah, well, as you stated earlier, I started out as a semi-pro footballer, but unfortunately, quite a serious injury halted my career there. And as the old saying goes, it's as one door closes, another opens. And that's how I really got into baseball at the age of 18. I've got 2 younger brothers who are twins, Nick and Ben, and they kept pestering me for a long time to get me to try out for our local baseball club, the Tonbridge Bobcats. They've been playing there for a few years under the tutelage of Mrs. Borley, MBE. Mm-hmm. And I finally went down there one day and had a go and just fell in love with the sport.
How did your brothers get into it?
Like I say, Margaret Borley, she started a youth team in my hometown of Tonbridge. Yeah. And they were just walking past a group of kids that were playing, and they just joined in. And it was from there they started. And like I say, they ended up getting me roped into it. So,
did you enjoy your first training experience, or was it a bit alien?
Do you know what? It was the first time I went down there. It was strange. Like I say, I'd always played football. Never really. I played rounders at school, but obviously not the same as baseball. But I will never forget my first at bat. And my first hit. It was like it was just totally different to anything else I'd ever done before. It was like the adrenaline was pumping, waiting for the pitch to come down, the swing of the bat, and the crack of the bat on the ball. It was amazing. Nothing like it.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So you started off in Tonbridge.
Yes.
How long were you in Tonbridge before you played for a few clubs within Britain?
Yes.
So
yeah.
What happened after you played for Tonbridge?
Well, I played for Tonbridge for, I think it was about 9 years, I think it was. I started off as a player, ended up then being the manager, coach and general manager. We won quite a few championships there, and then eventually I got the call up to the Brighton Buccaneers, who are unfortunately now defunct, and ended up playing in the NBL for them for 5 years, going on to win 3 national titles and runners up twice. Also played in the European Cup final for the Buccaneers as well.
Who are your opponents? Who are your opponents in that final?
The Brochat Braves in Belgium. Yeah. They had a guy who was pitching for them that literally, I think it was like 2 months previously, had been released from the Detroit Tigers. It was crazy. We didn't really stand a chance, but we put up a really good show, and we were told by the then CEB commissioner that we were the best British baseball side that anyone had ever seen. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
What can you remember from that game? Can you take us through any highlights?
Well, my brother Nick Carter, he was due to pitch the final, but unfortunately he broke his hand in one of the previous games, taking a ball straight back at him. He didn't use his glove; he used his bare hand, as you do. He broke his hand, which then gave me the opportunity to pitch in the final. So the highlight for me was pitching in the final. I mean, obviously, it didn't go the way we were hoping, but to have pitched in the European Cup final was one of the highlights of my career, definitely.
Yeah. So you've had the pleasure of playing for the GB national team as well. Do you remember when you got called up?
Yeah, I do actually. It was very funny actually. I was just at home one day, and my brother Nick, there was I think it was a 3-game series against Sweden that was being played at Waltham Abbey. I think it was in the year 2000, I think it was, or 1999. I can't remember now. Yeah. And the day he called me up, he said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, nothing." He said, "Well, do you want to come and pitch for GB? You're short of a pitcher." I was like, "Okay." So I went along and pitched for GB against Sweden, and I think I must have done okay because I stayed with the GB program for the next, I think it's 4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah. So what happened then after you left Brighton? Did it go under when you were still there, or did you move on before you?
Yeah, I actually, due to family commitments, I ended up finishing playing for Brighton. I believe it was 2005, and just then started playing for fun, just in the lower divisions in the UK, and then I moved over to Belfast, and I was over there for 10 years and played over there.
Yeah, I believe that you started off with the Belfast North Stars. What was the club like there when you first came to it? Because I've been told that you sort of rejuvenated the team.
Yeah.
What changes did you see it go through from when you started there to when you finished?
Well, the club was running. It was running with one team, and it was pretty much like a lot of clubs in the UK. You know, some weeks you had enough players, other weeks you were phoning people up the night before to make sure they were going to be there, or trying to get someone to come and play in left field for you or right field for you. So yeah, there were struggles over there as well, but over the years I introduced a structured practice every week. I also introduced import players coming over from the States to play and help coach, which helped rejuvenate the club. And towards the end of my time there, it ended up we had enough players to have 3 teams, which we kind of split and had the 3 teams in Belfast. So that reduced the travelling, because a lot of the time it was having to travel from Belfast to Dublin and even further sometimes. So it just made sense to try and have like a hub in Belfast and try and get, like I say, the 3 teams playing against each other.
And is that what led to the creation of the Belfast Buccaneers?
Yes, yeah. There was the North Stars, the Belfast North Stars, the Belfast Buccaneers, and the Belfast Hornets, who I don't believe are playing anymore.
What is the standard of baseball like in Northern Ireland compared to what we've experienced in the rest of Britain?
It's quite similar in the respect that there are a lot of new players coming into the sport and a lot of experienced guys, expats. I would say the A-League in Ireland is on par with, I would say, the British Baseball Federation AAA NBL.
Okay.
So it's quite similar. The Irish B League, I would say, is probably on par with single A to double A in the UK. Is
the community over there as good as it is over here? I mean, like with all the players. I mean, I've had the pleasure of speaking to a lot of people, and everybody's really passionate and and
Oh,
rabid about the sport over here. They really love it.
yeah.
Is it like
It's
that
no
in Ireland
different.
as well?
Yeah, it's no different over in Ireland. They're very passionate. They try and instill a lot of professionalism into the league, which is what we try and do over here. Obviously, they're on the same financial restraints that we are in the UK as well. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult, but everyone mucks in, plows in, and just gets on with it.
Yeah. You seem to have played for a lot of clubs that have the name Buccaneers in the title. Is that just a coincidence, or is it a?
Well, I just my highlight of my career was playing for the Brighton Buccaneers, and I've just always loved that name. I always loved that club. So it just made sense when I moved to Belfast to start the Buccaneers up there.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back to England, to start up the Kent Buccaneers. So keep the name going.
Yeah, lovely. Just taking it back into Ireland though, you were quite hands-on when you were over there. Didn't you get around to helping to create the baseball and softball academy in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, that's right. That was something I'm very passionate about, youth baseball. I was very fortunate that I was able to work with the Department of Culture, Arts and Leisure, bringing a programme to the youth in and around Belfast. It was to unite Catholic and Protestant children through baseball.
Amazing.
It was such a fantastic experience. Some of them kids had never, same as over here, they'd never held a baseball bat. They play hurling over in Ireland, and it's kind of the same thing, but they hold the bat the wrong way round, and it just looks very awkward. So yeah, no, it was great, and the kids, like I say, from both sides of the fence were awesome, and it culminated in a festival a festival type tournament towards the end, where both Catholic and Protestant children were playing baseball against each other. It was amazing.
How was that received by the parents? I try not to make this political, but like, did baseball become the uniting factor then between the Catholics and Protestants, or was it awkward? Was it a bit weird, or was it just like did the kids not care about that and just
the kids didn't care? No, the kids didn't care. It's unfortunately when you come to politics and religion, it's always the parents, or it's always the adults. So the children, they just had smiles on their faces, running around like lunatics, and that was what it was all about.
Brilliant.
Just having fun.
Yeah, the way it should be. And you also helped in 2016 to build the first multi-purpose facility for baseball. And was that softballs or baseball and softball?
For baseball, yeah. Yeah, that was something I was very passionate about as well. The north of Ireland didn't really have a dedicated facility. The only one at the time they had was down in Dublin in Corker Park. Very nice facility, but they didn't have one in the north of the island. So I kind of made it my mission to get one built. And fortunately, with the help of some of the club members, we managed to get Lisburn and Castlereagh Council to build it for us.
Cracking. What do you say the standard of facilities like? Can you compare it to anything that's over here?
Well, the facility in Belfast is on par with a lot of the fields in the UK for sure. The facility which was built in Ashbourne in Ireland is almost on par with Farnham Park in Slough. So I mean, like I say, the passion and the enthusiasm in Ireland is exactly the same as in the UK.
You mentioned before that you're quite passionate about youth baseball. What is it particularly about youth baseball that really gets you going?
Well, I think if you haven't got children playing baseball, you've got no future. I've seen too many clubs in the UK just stop running because they haven't had a progression of players coming through.
Yeah.
You can't rely on rookies to fill the gaps all the time. It has to come from the youth, and the only way to do that is to have youth programs.
Yeah. As someone that set up a lot of these programs, have you got any tips or advice for any clubs that may be looking to start their own program?
Youth program? Well, I mean, there are places you can get funding from. I know BSUK were very helpful with the Kent Knights, the youth team which I run. They helped out with some equipment and some help towards buying a uniform. I know there are some places in the States that you can. I'm not sure who they are exactly, but I know there are places in the States that help out with youth baseball as well around the world. So that's certainly somewhere that people can look.
Cool. Any other playing highlights that you want to talk about?
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, I was able to play for the Dodgers in Arizona in 2015 in the MSBL World Series. That was really good fun.
How did that come about?
It's quite a long-winded story actually. A guy called Mike Walsh. He's a catcher.
Yeah.
And this was when I was living in Ireland. They had a tournament over. I believe it was 2011. It was called The Gathering. It was for everybody in Ireland to kind of gather, or for people from outside of Ireland who have got Irish heritage to gather in Ireland. And they held a baseball tournament, and Mike Walsh, like I say, a guy from Los Angeles, he came over just on a whim to the tournament and said, "Can I play?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course you can." So he ended up playing on the team that I played for, which was like a President's Select team in the Irish Baseball League, and we became friends through that tournament. And he invited me over in 2015 to play for the Dodgers, and and it's just been going backwards and forwards. So I've invited him to play in Austria when I went over there with the North Stars, and it's just been. And then he came back to England to play in the Battle for Britain last year for the Kent Bucks.
Cool.
So he's become a firm friend, and I think we'll be playing in a lot more tournaments together in the future.
That's awesome. What are the plans around the Battle for Britain this year? Is that something that you have a hand in organising?
Yes, that's myself and the Kent Buccaneers committee. We're going to be it's going to be an annual event now. We were due to have it at the end of May this year, but obviously with the COVID pandemic, it was postponed. But it's actually being held this September 26th and 27th. Again, depending on what happens with the pandemic, but hopefully it'll be going ahead. So yeah, I mean, that's something to look forward to. The club are really looking forward to it. I know the teams which have entered can't wait to start playing baseball again.
Yeah, I've seen the northern lineup. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, it looks quite tasty this year. They've got some good players.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping to come down for it. It's over my birthday weekend.
Oh, fantastic! What better way to celebrate your birthday than watching baseball?
I'm going to watch it through a tiny little GoPro while I try and film it for highlights.
Fantastic.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a really nice celebration. I know when I had Paul Conboy on from Baseball Scotland, he was really excited about telling me when the Scottish team came down and dominated.
Oh, they were awesome. Honestly, they were really good. Yeah.
Yeah. But can't wait to see some really good teams and just meet some new people. Yeah, quite excited about it.
Yeah.
So how did the idea for that come about?
Well, I kind of organised the Belfast tournament the year before I left Ireland, and it was a fantastic success. We had 12 teams coming from all over, including the UK. And it was such a great weekend, a really good gathering of people from the baseball community. And like I say, when I moved back to England, it just made sense to keep that going and start a tournament here. Ideally, what I want is for the Battle for Britain to become the new London tournament that used to be held at Croydon.
So what I'm not aware of what that was. What is like an all-star weekend type thing, or?
Yeah, it was pretty much just a baseball tournament which was held in at the Croydon Pirates facility. It was like all over weekend, and it was just a celebration of baseball. And unfortunately, that stopped running a few years ago. I think when the Croydon team folded.
Yeah.
And we need to play more baseball in this country. Simple as that. And tournaments are the way to go.
Yeah, so it's a great idea. I really like the concept. I mean, just looking at the way that everyone's come together for it. Superb idea, sir. Bravo. So some of the questions that I wanted to ask around yourself and baseball, was there any sort of like exact moment when baseball became like super important to you?
When did it become super important? Well, I think, like I stated earlier, it was the first time I swung the bat and hit the ball. It was just like a light bulb moment. It was just like, wow.
Love at first sight type of thing.
Yeah, it kind of was, yeah. And I haven't looked back since.
Yeah,
so.
I get that. Yeah, I can understand that feeling, yeah, definitely. How has the game or the people involved in it shaped you as a person? Or how has the game sort of made you?
Yeah, I think it's taught me how to be a part of a team and a family. It's taught me to become a lot more disciplined, and also to appreciate that everyone is totally different. I've gained friends from all over the world, and I've met so many lovely people from so many different cultures. It's just been amazing. The game is truly global. I know that if it hadn't been for sport and baseball in particular, I think my path would have ended up being pretty checkered, and I probably would have ended up getting into a lot of trouble with the law. So I'm just really happy that I found my calling.
Yeah. Well, great to know. As a young coach, who were your role models when you were playing, or who did you try to impress to show them that you were all in baseball?
Yeah. Okay. Well, role models, like players that I watched in MLB. Is that what you mean?
Players, coaches, anyone that sort of.
Well, yeah. I kind of grew up watching Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine of the Braves, and always wanted to be able to pitch. So yeah, I guess those guys would have been role models in my younger days, for sure.
So who were the biggest influences on your playing career over in this country? Is there anyone in particular that sort of helped guide you? Or
yeah, well, I think Margaret Borley, MBE, definitely was the first coach that I had. She was amazing. Anyone that you ask about Mrs. Borley, I'm sure that they'll have stories to tell about her. She was just a fantastic. Well, she's still around. I mean, she's a fantastic lady, great ambassador for the sport. So yeah, for sure, her. I'd also like to say Mr. Craig Savage, who was my coach at the Brighton Buccaneers. He gave me the chance to play there and gave me the nod in the European Cup final. So for sure, him as well. And also Stefan Rapaglia. He was the Team GB coach at the time that I was playing there. Really great guy. Again, he gave me a chance to play for Team GB. So yeah, I guess those three people.
At this stage in your career, is there anything you're still working on with all the experiences that you've had? Are you still trying to learn and develop?
Oh, I'm always trying to get better. Trouble is, the old bones don't allow it so much nowadays. But I always give 110% when I play. I don't think there's anyone on a diamond that's more committed than me when I'm on it. I'm sure people would disagree, but I know if I'm there playing, I'm like a different person on the field. I know I've rubbed people up the wrong way, and I will continue to do so, but it's just my competitive nature.
Yeah. What about with coaching? Are you quite a old school coach, or do you embrace technology? Have you been on webinars? What's your style?
Oh, webinars? No, I don't do anything like that. I'm proper old school.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I only really coach what I've been coached myself, which is quite blinkered, I know, but it's worked for me. I'm sure there are a lot of things that I could learn, and I probably should. But for me, it's like I said earlier. It's for me. It's the youth, getting the kids into the game, making sure they learn the basics correctly, which I think I'm pretty good at teaching, and that should really hold them in good stead for the future and for the future of baseball in this country and Ireland.
Yeah, we've got two teams in Kent. You've got the Mariners and the Bucks as well. Is it thriving, the baseball scene in Kent, or has it been quite a struggle to try and get kids into playing baseball?
Well, like the Tonbridge area has always been a hotbed for youth players over the years. When I first moved back to Kent, I started up the Kent Knights in Tonbridge, as I was part of the Tonbridge Bobcats when I first came back.
Yeah.
But then we moved the kids over to Hadlow, to where the Kent Buccaneers are now, and the Hadlow is a very small village, but it's a village that has got nothing really on offer for the children, and the children of the area have just totally embraced it. It's a fun, exciting new sport that they've never seen before and never tried, so they love it, and it's thriving.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really is. And I know there's a guy, Ross Presnell, who plays for the Kent Mariners. He's actually started up a youth team in Canterbury as well. So the youth baseball is certainly on the rise. We could probably do with a few more teams, but it comes down to coaches that want to do it. So
that's cool. That's impressive. Nice one. What's the best bit of advice that anyone's ever given you, and have you passed it on to other people?
Best advice? I don't really know. Well, just to, if you want something, go for it, because it's not going to come to you. If you want to play for Team GB, if you have to work for it. There's no doubt about that. It's not going to come to you. You've just got to put in the hard work and the graft.
Yeah, the phrase "good things come to those who wait" does my head in. Why are you waiting around for good things to happen? Go out there and get it and attack it. And
sure.
Yeah. How have you seen the game change while you've been involved? Like you've been involved since the 90s.
Make me feel old now.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm 40 in September and I've never hit a ball yet. So
okay.
I've had a few swings. But
I'm not doing much better. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When I left England to move to Belfast, it was like the golden era of British baseball was pretty much when I was playing for Brighton, like 1999 up to I think it was 2005. We had envoys over, envoy coaches. We had, I think it was the play ball, which was for the youth. It really was the golden era, and so that was all good. Like I say, then I moved over to Belfast. I was over there for 10 years, and then moved back to England, and it felt like the game had gone backwards, to be honest with you, which is a real shame, because the way it was, it should have really pushed it, and sky's the limit. It should have been it, but unfortunately, for some reason, it's just stagnated. And like I say, I feel it's gone backwards.
Yeah. What do you think needs to happen then to try and get British baseball back to that height?
Well, they've got to seriously look at what it was like through that golden era, and bring the envoys back. Make sure there these envoy coaches or player coaches from the States who are hungry and eager to pass on their knowledge and skills to coaches and players over here. That's what's really lacking.
Yeah. What advice have you got for any sort of young coaches that are listening that are thinking of any sort of young players that may be considering coaching? Like I said, then there seems to be like of coaches to try and encourage to get youth training before. So what do you think to anyone that's just probably thinking of taking up a coaching role or wants to try a hand at it?
Yeah, well, I mean, my advice would be for any new coach would be to listen. I think that's key. Just listen to other coaches. There are so many, like I say, I'm proper old school. I don't go internet and stuff like that, but there are so many platforms and great coaching material out there to help any new coach on their journey. So, just listen, watch, and learn any from any platform you can.
Yeah. Are you quite a routine kind of guy? Is it like is your stuff set in stone, or do you?
What, like drills and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, kind of adapt them a little bit. Just otherwise they end up becoming boring. You have to make it. It doesn't matter what level you are as a player. It has to be fun. And I try and, like I say, I have got like set drills which I love to do, basics, but it's the basics that are good, that make a good foundation. So as long as you've got that in place, you can adapt, make it fun, and like I say, any level, it's got to be fun.
Cool. What's your favourite drill to do? Everyone's got a favourite drill.
Yeah, I like to hit fungos to the outfielders. I like to make them work. And funnily enough, whilst in Ireland, there was a guy, former minor league player, Timmy Rodriguez, his name was. He played in the Texas organisation. He said that if I'd been in the States, I'd have been snapped up by a big league club as a fungo hitter. and this is something that I'm actually really proud of. So
get on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I could be the fungo guy.
Yeah.
That's cracking.
But no, fungo drills, outfield drills. Like I say, I love to see the outfielders running and tracking the ball.
That's cool. I'm really taking all the drills that I'm doing at the moment. I can't even pick a favourite. I really like it. Weirdly enough, I really like doing base running stuff. I find
okay. Yeah, well, make them work.
I've got like a really weird theory behind like it. So if it's hard to hit a home run, and naturally that means that all your runs going to be scored through regular runs into it, like just knocking them onto the field and trying to be clever.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking of like how I can try and use that to my advantage of trying to be a smart baseman or looking at like stealing bases sort of thing. So I think the more that I'm getting into baseball without even playing a game yet, I'm trying to look at the more cerebral side of it and trying to think of how I can try and make myself a better player. So I'm not saying that I'm going to try and focus on stealing bases. I'm 40, my knees are knackered. So, but if I can try and sort of like at the start of the drills that we're doing, it's all base, and I'm just like, I can't wait to get on. It's like trying to see if I can get my angle sorted, like trying to get my stride right for maximum. Just weird. Like, I like spreadsheets. What can I say? Stuff that's odd and quirky. I really enjoy, but like even like doing ground balls and just doing the basics. I suppose because it's all still quite new to me. I just get buzz out of doing all of it. I do all of it. It's great. Like our first training session back in Manchester has all just recently been allowed back to training at council lifted the restrictions. So I just went for it. Like I was at like a combine. I just went hell for leather. I got back to the car and I was knackered. I was a bit sweating. I was like, I'm happy.
But didn't you feel good though? Didn't you feel good?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let me say, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've been playing baseball for 30 years. I get a buzz at every practice. And I think if you don't get that buzz at practice, it's time to retire.
Yeah.
So yeah, practice is everything.
Yeah, I'm very well aware that my time probably playing the sport is limited just through age. And I know there's a lot of people that are out there that are well into the 40s, 50s, and whatever that still play. But I've never sort of set myself the target of playing at the highest level in Manchester. Like I know for a fact I won't make the 18.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
There's a lot of
Don't ever say
talented.
that.
I know that there's a lot of talented players there. So I'm like I said, then I'm just really enjoying doing what I'm doing, and I'll push myself
Yeah.
as hard as I can to show that I'm determined and committed. But I'm
Good.
I've got like a little bat and ball set for the little one. I mean, he's just
Right.
turned 3, and I really like watching the smile on his face as he's like swinging for the ball and almost getting him in like, oh, I'll get the next one. And I'd love for him to be able to take enthusiasm and actually carry it on. So I'm trying to learn as much as possible to play with him here. And,
yeah, if he sees his daddy playing, he'll play. Don't worry about that. Yeah. But I've got to tell you as well. You say you're worried about your age. Like I said earlier on, I played in the MSBL World Series in Arizona, and they have a 73-year-old age bracket. So there are no age limits in baseball.
That's brilliant. Right, well, I'm going over to Arizona then. Bye-bye, Salford. And trading your shite weather in for some sun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. That I like that. They've got a 73s league. I was talking to Harvey Soccer, who used to play over here, and he mentioned some of that. He was in Toronto. And they have like I think it's involved in 3 or 4 leagues, and it's like an over X amount age group bracket. But yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. I think that's pretty much all the questions that I've got for you. I'm sure that I'm not using the best of my time with you, and there's more that I can pick your brains on. So what I will do is I will hand these over to the listeners' questions, because a lot of people out there that know you a lot better than I do that have asked some cracking questions. And the first one comes in from Lucy Chapman, and she plays down in Kent. She's in the Mariners though. She's said, what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing with GB, which has led to you playing the way that you do now?
Oh yeah, good question. I think that's pretty much the same as what I would say if you wanted to become a coach, and that is you've got to listen. If you don't listen, you don't learn. That applies to anything in life. So yeah, listen, and listen some more. But also, you have to have a hunger to become better. So I think that's what I learned from playing for GB.
Cool, awesome. She also asked another one, and I was going to ask something similar to this, but I thought I'd let Lucy have it. What's it like sharing your love of baseball with your kids?
Oh yeah, that's that. I think this is probably the best experience for me. I'm very lucky. I've got 5 children, and 4 of them so far have either played or are currently playing baseball. So that's been the real highlight of my life so far. I've also just have to put this in there as well, that I've been very lucky to have shared the baseball field with 8 other Carters at the same time in an official BBF League game. So yeah, that was right up there as well. And I don't think that's ever happened before anywhere. So that's pretty awesome, and something I'll never forget. And we won the game too, which was even better.
Nice work. Ian Blease, friend of the show, he sent a picture of the Last Supper, the painting with Jesus and the disciples, and he's asked if you could talk us through the Last Supper painting. So I don't know if he's after like who the people are involved left to right, or if there's a funny story behind it, but I'm guessing story behind it.
Yeah, I remember the picture. We were in Arizona playing in the MSBL for the Buccaneers travel team, and we were out one evening just relaxing after a pretty hard day of losing, and we ended up going to a bar, and one of the players there, Dave Martin Baez, he resembles Jesus, or pictures of Jesus, and we decided it would be a really good idea to get a picture of the Last Supper with us all in our baseball unis and himself as Jesus. No, it was really funny.
That's awesome. Does
really
that picture
was.
still exist?
It does, yeah. I'm sure Bleezy will be able to pull it out from somewhere. No, it's on the internet somewhere. I know. I'm sure Dave Martin Baez has got it as well. So
cracking.
yeah,
I need to see
it's
that.
really cool.
That sounds quite brilliant, actually.
Honestly, so funny.
You mentioned then about the Bucks travel. One thing I was going to ask you as well. How did that sort of come about? It's a really interesting thing because I know a few people have actually been a part of it. Do you want to tell the listeners a bit more about it, the Bucks travel?
Yeah, well, for me, I just want to play baseball, and I want to play baseball wherever I can, whenever I can. So the idea was for myself, after I came back from playing for the Dodgers in 2015 in Arizona, I came back and I said, I've got to take a team over there to play in that tournament. And that's where the Bucks travel team came from. I just advertised it to anyone in the UK and Ireland and managed to get, I think it was like 22 or 23 guys saying, yep, I'm doing that. So they came out and played in Arizona in 2017. We had lots of fun. Didn't win any games, but we had lots of fun, and that's the main thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So is that like an open? Don't worry, I'm not from the at the ring. Is it like an open invite to whoever, regardless of what sort of club they play for, or what federation?
I mean, it was the first year. It was because I didn't know whether I would get any responses or anyone that wanted to do it. So it was just a free for all, and that was, like I say, that was in 2017. In 2018. I wanted to play on the Field of Dreams facility in Iowa. Mm-hmm. So I set that up. And again, that was like a free for all. And we had an absolutely amazing time out there in the little town of Dyersville. Yeah. We played 3 nights under the lights at the Field of Dreams. And for me and my brother, it was a really magical experience. Myself and my brothers, we lost our father when we were 5, and to play on the Field of Dreams, obviously people that know baseball know the story of the Field of Dreams, and it was pretty magical for myself and my brother. Only one of my brothers unfortunately could come, so I've got to arrange it again for the other brother, and hopefully he'll come.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Roman was on the show not so long ago, who's one of the manager, is one of the staff there, pretty high up. So I'll put a good word in for you if you like. He's had some great stories about the place, and he's saying that there is something completely magical about the place, just that vibe. When you did you get that when you sort of rocked up there? Was there like an energy about the place?
Oh, it was amazing. You drive down a long like gravel road, and you see the field in the distance, and it's just it brings the hairs up on the back of your neck. It's crazy good.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll definitely be doing it again in the future. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
Cracking. Yeah, we'll do. So next set of questions got Neil Davis. What signs will the Kent Bucks be using next month? And is there a PDF copy that he can have? Sign stealing.
Yeah, I'll be passing that. I'll be passing that on to him before the tournament. Don't worry. But we'll still beat them, so it doesn't matter.
Aaron Drew, if John were a soup, what kind of soup would he be?
Yeah, I've got no answer to that. Minestrone? I don't know.
Nice. I'm feeling a bit like tomato at the moment. I didn't put any sun cream on. I went out a slough, so I'm burnt.
Right.
But the weather forecast when I checked the phone says like 70% chance of rain. So I was like, why do I need suntan lotion? 70% rain. But I had a hat with me. I just never got a chance to go and put it on. So
right.
I got back in the car. I was like, oh, God, banging headache. And I was like, touching the top of my noggin. Stinking. Yeah, not nice. John Baxendale, ask him about the Dublin night bus in 2008 and the incident that led to you being there. I've been told it's cleanish, so.
I will give you the clean version.
I'll do.
Basically we've been out all night. It was the Dublin tournament, and I was playing for Bolton.
Yeah.
And we decided it would be a good idea to go out. I think it was on the Saturday night, knowing that we had a game early on the Sunday morning. And early hours of the morning on the Dublin bus, we were pole dancing. So that's pretty much all I remember. And I know I pitched the game in the morning, and I don't really remember very much of it, to be honest with you.
Oh man, I don't want to see pictures of that one.
Nah.
Oh, nice. So did you live up north for a bit? Because I'm from Bolton originally. Well, I say Bolton originally. I was born in Bolton because it was a closer hospital. Raised in Salford. Were you?
Yeah, no. I am a southerner. As you probably guessed from the accent, but
You don't really
fortunately,
have an accent.
have I not? Have I not? Oh, okay. But
I don't think that.
no, I know John Baxendale from he played for Brighton for a while. When I was there, and he lives up in Bolton and played for the Robots of Doom for a few years, but I believe he's now with the Liverpool Trojans. And I've known John for years.
And friend of the show, Neil Raleigh from the SWBL, has asked the question: have you decided yet on what pose you're going to hold when they cast your statue?
What pose I'm going to hold? Oh my God. I don't think there'll ever be a statue made for me. As much as really, that would be awesome. But no, I don't think there'll be a statue built for me, unfortunately.
I don't know. The things you've done for the game in Britain, I think there might be something moulded out of tin foil or child's Play-Doh. I'm sure we can fashion that with a 3-year-old for you. Would you not rather have something like off a cheesy like 1990s baseball card with like hand on chin or bat behind the shoulder, or like maybe
that would be pretty cool.
Like an Oscar style statue with just a glove or something? I'm not like suggesting some sort of Playboy pose or cover or something. Like we're just a bat covering your bits.
Yeah, fully clothed would be preferable.
Yeah.
No, maybe a pose of me pitching would be awesome, but like I say, I don't think that's going to.
Well, I think we'll let the listeners decide. If you've got any photos or any action shots of John that you think would make a great statue, or even an action figure, let's see him tagged on social media.
Yeah, thanks for that, Neil.
Jack Ford Lane, 2 questions. Why didn't you call him back like you said you would? You said we were a serious thing. So now we're doing dating on the British Baseball Podcast. Any responses there for Jack?
Yeah.
Why do you stand him up?
I'll call him tomorrow.
It's like a check in the post sort of response. Question 2, why haven't you sent an invoice for your balls yet? My team love playing with them, but we need an invoice for those balls.
I know they like playing with my balls. I will get the invoice in the post ASAP.
Good lad. Ian Blease, he snuck another one in. This one's on Facebook. I've been lucky enough to travel to Arizona with John twice as part of the British and Irish Buccaneers squads. Both trips have been wonderful experiences that wouldn't have happened without John's hard work. My question to him is, where did the idea to put together a UK travel team come from, and when did you first realise that it might be possible?
Oh, yeah, well, that comes back to, like I say, I played for the Dodgers in 2015 at the MSB World Series in Arizona. And when I came home, I was just like, wow, that was such an amazing experience. I want as many people this side of the pond to be able to experience that as well. And so I made it my mission to assemble a team. And yeah, the rest is history. We've been out there twice now, and we're due to go out there again next year. So
cool. Sorry, Bleasy, I seem to have stolen your thunder there with asking a question myself.
That's okay. That's okay.
Pre-read this, but I'll credit Ian's question, the one I asked to Ian as well. David John MB on the old Facebook as well. John doesn't look a day over 37. Considering all those hot days on a diamond, what's your skincare regime?
Nivea.
Not a sponsor.
No.
Oh, that's a response to that. And that's it for listener questions. John, that's us done for today. Thank you so much for your time and your insight into your career and your journey through baseball. It's been an absolute blast talking to you. I feel like I know you completely now. I always like to leave the last word open to the guest. So, John Carter, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you very much for having me on the show, Matt. It's been a real pleasure. And just like I say, if anyone in the future wants to play on the Bucks travel team, just hit me up on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I've also got my online store, which players are able to buy baseball equipment from. Again, I'm on Facebook there, or Coach Carter's fieldsports.co.uk.
I'll put all the links in the show notes as well for you.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to be able to help players get as good a experience out of baseball as they possibly can. And that's just been my mission for a few years now, and it will continue to be my mission.
Yeah, you strike me as a very hands-on person, a proper doer. Like, you know, if you see something that needs to be done,
no one else is going to do it. Yeah. No one else is going to do it. So
quite
do it
inspirational.
yourself.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you very much, John. Been a pleasure. I wish you all the best luck for the rest of the season with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And
thank you very much, Matt.
I'll speak to you soon. Ta-ra.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.